Today, we are pulling back the curtain on one of New York City's most powerful and, frankly, least understood roles, the city marshal. This is a story about a whole lot of authority, some huge financial incentives, and a system that, well, it's starting to show some serious cracks.
Think about it for a second. If you get a financial judgment against you, or, you're facing an eviction in New York City, who's the person that actually shows up at your door? Who has the legal power to freeze your bank account? It's not the NYPD. Nope, it's someone else entirely.
And the answer is the city marshal. Now, the first thing you really need to know is what they aren't. Marshals are not police officers. They're actually unsalaried civilians, and they're appointed by the mayor for 5-year terms to be the enforcement arm of the civil courts.
And here's the detail that really drives this whole story. They work on commission. Marshals get to keep 5% of all the money they collect. So, when a single marshal can collect over $1 million in just 1 year, you start to see just how lucrative this job can be. The entire system is built on this really powerful financial incentive.
So this financial incentive, you combine that with immense power, and yeah, it has led to some pretty serious problems. Just recently, the city's own watchdog agency, the Department of Investigation, or DOI, they testified before the city council, and what they had to say was pretty startling.
So, what did the DOI find? Well, the first number they threw out was this one, 11. That's the number of city marshals out of only 28 in the whole city who have faced disciplinary charges since 2019. This isn't just a few random incidents. This really points to a bigger, more systemic problem.
I mean, to put that in perspective, we're talking about nearly 40% of the entire city marshal force facing disciplinary action. This isn't a case of 1 or 2 bad apples. That is a huge slice of the pie right there.
And here's where it all gets a little murky. While the DOI confirmed the number of disciplined marshals, they didn't actually release the names or the specific details of the misconduct. So there's this really concerning lack of public transparency around who was charged and for what.
And get this, those formal disciplinary actions, they're just the tip of the iceberg. Over that same period, the DOI got more than 550 complaints directly from the public. That means every single year, over 100 New Yorkers had an experience so bad they felt they had to officially report it.
Okay, so what does this misconduct actually look like on the ground? Let's zoom in on a specific case, because this isn't about simple paperwork errors. We're talking about marshals who are allegedly acting far, far beyond their legal authority.
So what does this overreach look like in the real world? Well, one of the most serious accusations is that these marshals are trying to collect debts way outside the boundaries of New York City, places where they have absolutely zero jurisdiction.
And it really looks like this is becoming a pattern. You have Marshal Vadim Barbarovich, who resigned after the DOI found he was enforcing judgments outside the city, and now you've got Marshal Stephen Beagle, who's being sued for allegedly doing the exact same thing, trying to seize money from a bank account all the way over in Arizona.
Okay, let's just break down this case against Beagle really quick. It starts with him allegedly placing an illegal levy on that out-of-state bank account. The company Zumango, they fought back. A judge actually agreed with them, calling the levy void. And now that company is suing the marshal directly for damages.
And the amount of money at stake here is just staggering. Marshal Beagle was allegedly trying to seize nearly $1 million, and that included the original judgment, plus an extra $45,000 in fees just for himself. The financial incentive to overstep his authority was, well, it was huge.
The language they use in the lawsuit against him is incredibly powerful. The company's lawyers called his alleged actions a brazen and intentional violation of his duties. See, this wasn't framed as just a simple mistake, but as a knowing abuse of power.
And this, right here, is why this matters so much. The consequence wasn't just a frozen bank account for a little while. The lawsuit claims that this single illegal action by a city marshal directly led to the demise of the plaintiff's business. It allegedly destroyed an entire company.
Okay, so let's zoom out from this one case. What does this pattern of misconduct really mean for everyday New Yorkers, whether they're running a small business or just renting an apartment?
Small businesses are particularly at risk here. The lawsuit against Marshal Beagle even noted that the original loan came from a company that the New York Attorney General has called a predatory lender. So the allegation is that these lenders then use marshals to aggressively and sometimes illegally collect those debts.
But it's not just about businesses. Marshals hold immense power over tenants, right? They're the ones who physically carry out evictions. So how does this lack of oversight affect people in their homes?
Well, the Legal Aid Society has raised a bunch of complaints. A major one is that tenants aren't getting their legally required 14-day notice before an eviction. This just leaves families with no time to prepare or find legal help or even figure out if the eviction is legitimate in the first place.
And all of this leads to the final, really critical question. With so much power and so many complaints, who is supposed to be watching the marshals? And is that system actually working? As we've seen, that job falls to the Department of Investigation. They are the designated watchdog. They're the ones handling the complaints, conducting investigations, and bringing the disciplinary charges we saw earlier.
Now, in response to all the tenant complaints about not getting proper notice, the DOI has been working on a solution, an internet portal. The idea is pretty simple. Tenants and their lawyers could sign up for immediate alerts the second an eviction notice is filed. It would create a clear digital paper trail.
But there's a pretty big problem. In that very same city council hearing, the head of the DOI herself, Commissioner Jocelyn Straber, admitted, and this is a quote, "It's not clear to me that that portal is working the way we would like it to be." So the one major tech fix designed to bring transparency to evictions is, by her own admission, falling short.
And that's where we're left. You've got this small group of public officials with the power to take your property and your home. They operate on a powerful profit motive. A big chunk of them have been disciplined for misconduct, but the details are kept secret, and the one big fix that's supposed to help isn't working right. So the question we all have to ask is this system of oversight truly enough to protect the people of New York?